Awesome tilt rotation there, height rotation, swivel. I mean, it's everything you would want. Hey everyone, today in this video, I'm going to be checking out the KOORUI. This is the KR10 single monitor mount. I did receive this sample directly from KOORUI, but I want you to know that any opinion expressed in this video is strictly my own. That being said, if you want to find out more about this monitor arm, the link to it will be in the video description. Here's a peek at the retail box and packaging. Everything looks great, very simple and straightforward with all of the important key specs right here on the front. So it supports screens anywhere between 17 and 32 inches. VESA mount 75 by 75 or 100 by 100. The load capacity is anywhere between 4.4 pounds all the way up to 19.8 pounds. Now let's go ahead, let's open this up and see what's inside. Here are all the contents. First up, we have our installation instructions complete with the QR code, charts, diagrams, safety information, nice product breakdown there with the specs. So base installation, you'll see 5 steps, monitor arm installation, adjustments, and cable management. Next up, you'll see the arm itself with KOORUI's logo and branding, cable management built into the bottom. It's got a good, nice weight to it. You'll see our minus and plus adjustments right there. Clearly labeled up for you. Rotation arrow there, 45 degrees. Here's some additional parts in pieces. Get a full look there. There's our cable management channel for the rest of the arm. You'll see our base here with their logo and branding on it. Additional bracket, clamp, and we have our hardware kit with all the included tools that we need. Now let's go ahead, let's get this set up. First up, we gotta assemble the base, so we're gonna take the 2 pieces that you see here and we're going to fasten them together with 3 bolts lined up right there in a triangular pattern. Here's the 3 bolts that we're gonna use. So you'll drop it down in here and fasten all 3 in place using the included Allen wrench. So here's how everything's gonna look when they're fastened together and tightened in place. Next up, we gotta take the clamp right here. So you'll see that we have different layers and levels where we can adjust it. And in our case, we'll just press it up until it won't go any further and then make fine-tune adjustments with the rest of the clamp right there, getting it nice and snug on our desk surface. So again, we're just gonna line it up here and then we'll just pull it up and tighten it in place. Now it's time to add the first piece of the arm right here. So go ahead, it just snaps in place. That's great, really simple and straightforward. And now we can take the main arm piece here and we're gonna follow the same step. Just gently press it in place, it'll snap right in, and there we go. We're really getting this thing put together now. It's looking really nice. So the next step involves prepping your monitor. In this case, it'll vary a little bit depending on if you have a flat monitor or a curved monitor. If you have a curved monitor, they have washers and spacers for you to use as needed. In our case, since we have a flat monitor, we're going to take 2 out of the 4 screws, and we're just going to gently thread them in place, but we're not going to tighten them all the way down, because you'll see we're actually going to hang the monitor by those screws right here. Once we get that lined up, we can tighten those in place and then we can add the other 2 screws. So now we need to go ahead, we need to lift the monitor up and place it on the stand. So those screws will line up with the holes just like you see here, and then it will be able to support the weight of the monitor, so we can hold it and we can tighten those screws down the rest of the way. Keep in mind, if you have 100 by 100, they have those holes as well. Those are up in the top corners and the bottom corners right there. So we're going to tighten those 2 in place, and we're also going to add our 2 remaining screws. So there we go. We have all 4 screws fastened in place. At this stage, feel free to do a fit check because you might want to actually include some of these washers, even if you don't have a curved monitor, to make sure you have a nice tight fit where everything's snug. You'll notice on ours right here, there's still a little bit of give, but the screws are all the way in, so it'd be best to have these installed. Now you see with the 4 washers installed, it's now nice and snug and there's no movement or give at the mount. Now it's time to fine tune our monitor arm to make sure it's properly supporting the weight of the monitor that we've installed on it. Keep in mind, friendly reminder, 4.4 pounds all the way up to 19.8 pounds for monitors. That's what's going to be supported weight-wise. So on the very back, you'll see our minus and plus indicator there. That's how we're going to make our adjustments. And it's just one bolt that we have to adjust either way, again, depending on what we're trying to accomplish. So give it a couple of turns. Probably going to have to turn it to the right to, I call it tightening it down. That will be what you'll probably have to do. At least that's what we had to do in our case for our monitor, to make sure that it would not spring up too fast or anything. We wanted it to be able to hold itself at all the different positions and angles. But you can fine tune the adjustment right there in the back. It's just one bolt that you have to adjust. Either way, it'll be up to you and the monitor that you're using. Now it's time for the last step, cable management. Here's a look at that cable management. You'll see we have our HDMI cable plugged in right there, and then it's routed up and through the monitor arm. You just pull this down and you can feed all of your cables in that channel, and then feel free to pull tight. Then it loops around here, and you'll see in the back side, same thing. You just kind of spread this apart. You can get it routed right through there, and then it comes down at the very bottom. So cable comes up from your computer through this first channel, then it makes its way up to our second channel there, and then it down and to our monitor. Repeat with additional cables, your power cable, maybe you have a couple different video cables, audio cables, things like that. You can fit quite a few in this channel, and again, quite a few in this channel as well. So there you have it. We have everything set up. You may notice too, we have a couple extra pieces left over, obviously some screws and washers, but you'll see here we have 3 parts and pieces. This is going to be, if you don't want to use the clamp installation, you can use the grommet installation if you have a hole in the center or somewhere in your desk and you want to mount it that way. You don't have access to the edge of your desk. That's where these parts and pieces are going to come into play. So feel free just to put those in a bag and keep everything for later. Same with your tools in case you ever need to make any adjustments. Now that everything's done, let's go ahead, let's try it out. Let's see what this stand is capable of doing. So we have a lot of play with the height adjustment, really nice. We can put it all the way down on our desk if we wanted, or somewhere in between, right? Or at the very top. And you can make all those adjustments just holding your display. We also can rotate it some, right? Look at that ability to extend out or back in, right? And then we just gotta turn it all around. So there's a lot you can do with this. And again, we can still adjust the height, but that arm gives us a great reach and extension, as you're seeing from the base right there with the height adjustments. Then we can also rotate this. So you'll see this way we can rotate it. We can rotate it the other way. Depending on your cables, that's really what's going to be holding you back. Technically, let me unplug the HDMI cable. This rotates all the way around. So we have full 360 rotation. And again, we still have the same exact height adjustments there, right? All the way up or all the way down. When I rotate it back, we also have some tilt. So we can tilt it that far down, massive tilt down, or you'll see how far we can tilt it back up, basically above and beyond for the tilt. So awesome tilt rotation there, height rotation, swivel. I mean, it's everything you would want in a monitor arm. That's what's so nice about these, is they give us a lot of flexibility. I mean, look at this too. Depending on your setup, right, you can get crazy with what you're able to do, but we could actually lower the height, right, and tilt it up. I mean, you get the idea, but that arm gives us a lot of reach, very flexible and versatile with what it's able to accomplish here. And again, we can also twist it back and do what we were doing in the very beginning. So basically, if you can dream it up or think about it, you will probably be able to adjust it with a stand like this. Now, let me share with you my final thoughts after using the KOORUI monitor mount. I'm very happy with this mount overall. Super simple to set up. You'll be up and running in just a couple of minutes with your monitor on this mount. Tons of versatility, whether you just want to declutter your desktop surface or you need to have your display at a certain angle or position, this monitor mount will be able to help you with that task. In regards to the build quality, everything works great. Personally, I would love to see maybe a replacement for this plastic cable management up at the top and even the one on the back side. Maybe a metal magnetic plate that you can easily remove, depending on the cables that you have there. Not a big deal, again, at the price that you're paying for this one, but just something that maybe can be done in the future. The coolest thing, though, with this monitor mount is something you didn't even see in this video, and that's the fact that we have 2 USB ports at the bottom. They're not active, it's just covers for them, but it looks like from the user guide, there may be a cable you can get if you wanted to have that functionality, and that would be really, really cool. So I wish that came by default. I'm sure it would cost more money. Maybe it's a different model or version out there, but that would really make this unique on the market today. I'd love to see that functionality built right in, and if they can keep it at or near the same price point, that would be really competitive and super cool, and just a nice way to set yourself apart on a very crowded marketplace out there. But I love that we at least have stuff like that. Maybe that's coming in the future, maybe even like wireless charging, things like that built in. That would be great. But I like that idea of having 2 USB ports right there that you could easily plug in your keyboard, your mouse, hard drive, things like that. But overall, so far so good. Very easy to set up, versatile, everything's working great as you would expect, and you can fine tune those adjustments depending on the particular monitor that you're going to use with this mount.